Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Fox2Do98 here, and welcome back to a brand new video for you guys today here on my channel. Today we are back with round 17 of my F1 2016 career mode from season 2 with Mercedes, and today, or this episode, is crunch time. First of all, as you can see, we have got a new part fitted, which is going to be engine power, giving us an extra 8 brake horsepower. But I actually realised that we've got 5 races to go in this series, so it means that if we can beat Lewis Hamilton by 4 points or more, we will win the World Drivers' Championship for the second year in a row. I am 97 points clear in the championship, and that's because, of course, a lot of bad luck has happened to Lewis Hamilton, whereas I've managed to stay consistent. However, if I can then get a 101 point gap or above against Lewis Hamilton, the championship will be wrapped up today in this episode, and we could also take the Constructors' Championship as well. So a lot is on the line for this episode. But if you do enjoy today's episode, drop a like, that'd be absolutely awesome. Subscribe if you're new around here as well. And also the second thing I wanted to talk about is, again, the driver lineups for Season 3. What will happen now is there is a poll right now. You can click on the link. There is another one of those online polls that I did the first time. Again, all you've got to do is just click on it, and then you can click to the team you want to vote for. So what's going to happen this time is a lot of people were still saying to move teams. However, there was also a lot of people that saying that you've made the wrong choice and that Mercedes is where you should be. So I have done this. You guys can vote. In the poll, you can vote for Mercedes to stay where I am. Option B is Ferrari. Move to Ferrari if the contract offer comes. C, go for Red Bull. So okay, again, if I get a contract and Red Bull is there, I'll go to Red Bull. D, if you want me to go to Williams, I will go to Williams if the contract offer is there. You've got 4 teams that you can vote for. I will be looking at the vote, excuse me, I've got hiccups right now. But I will be reviewing those votes, and when the next F1 2016 video comes out on Saturday, I will be checking those votes on Saturday when I'm editing. So about 3-4 p.m. I want to say on Saturday. The votes will shut, and well, it won't shut, but I won't be seeing any more of the votes. I'll take it from when I look at it, and on Saturday then I will see what you guys want. So you've got a couple of days to get those votes in and see where you'd like me to go. So they are the 2 main things today. We've got the championship we can rack up, and we've also got the driver lineup that we need to sort out. So let's get into the qualifying then. You saw the practice there. We mastered, I think, everything, got perfect on everything. So very good there in practice. Into qualifying we go. Coming through 130R, going very wide on the exit there, exceeding the track limits. In fact, Q1 was probably one of the messiest laps I've ever done. Completely cut the corner there. Nice corner cut, Tom. And we exceeded track limits again. But for some reason, my lap was never taken away from me. But it was crap anyway, but it was never taken away. So, yeah. Whatever. I can put my hand up and say, yeah, I was stupid in all those parts. Anyway, into Q2 we come now through 130R again, this time making sure we have all 4 wheels on the track. Down into the chicane, once again making sure I've got all 4 wheels, at least one of my 4 wheels on the track. And then coming around the final corner here, opening the DRS, and so we come through and set the fastest lap. But this track was just like Malaysia. I was slow. I was very, very slow around here. My weakest sector was probably the first sector. I had horrific understeer going through the S section. And then in the middle sector, just couldn't really hook it all up. In the final sector, I was the fastest. Again, I got hiccups. I was the fastest driver in the final sector. So, yeah, it was going to be very difficult there to actually even think about going for pole position. So what I want to do is try and get as close as I can. Into Q3 we come then, and I try and take the shortest run down to the finish line there. I'm still quite far off of what Lewis Hamilton set, and we're going to have to settle for what I believe was P3 in the end of it. Unfortunately, I forgot to show the classification. We qualified in 3rd for the Japanese Grand Prix, so not a bad qualifying position at all. It was Hamilton on pole with Daniel Ricciardo, followed by myself. But unfortunately, we now lose the rivalry with Lewis Hamilton. So he's definitely been a lot quicker in the second part of the season, and my driver position comes shooting down there, so not good at all. So listening to the session objectives from Emma, she's going to want us to finish 2nd or above, beat Lewis Hamilton, and then continue to be 4th in the Drivers' Championship, something like that. There you go. So until then, guys, let's get into the race for the Japanese Grand Prix. Let's go see if we can win this Drivers' Championship for a 2nd season in a row.
And a very warm welcome to the Japanese Grand Prix. An event that has decided a Drivers' Championship 11 times over the years and has hosted some very memorable races as well. Who can forget Kimi Raikkonen's win from 17th on the grid in 2005, or Kamui Kobayashi's incredible drive to a podium in 2012. A lap of this historic racetrack covers 3.6 miles, and it's the only time during the season that we race on a figure-of-8 racetrack. The drivers can expect some intense G-forces through the 18 corners on offer here as they experience some of the highest average apex speeds on the Formula One calendar. And keep an eye out for overtakes going into the final chicane. I'm joined again today by none other than Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, obviously there's a lot of development work that goes on with these cars between the races. You've been both a test driver and a race driver. What differences are there in the way you approach those roles?
Interesting question, Crofty. They're two very different mindsets. I mean, when I tested for BAR, we had full in-season testing where, per driver, you'd cover up to 15,000 kilometres per season. And in that role, it was more about working for the team, trying to help them improve the car and drive as systematically as you could, so that that data could be analysed in the most consistent way. When you're lining up on the grid for a race, however, your frame of mind's all about what you can get out of the situation on that day, and the car's the tool to help you achieve what you want. You still want to focus on setup, of course, but it's more about the here and now, getting yourself as far up the field as possible, and less about development work for the future.
With 5 races remaining, we're still in with a chance of taking the Constructors' Championship. The team need a result from you today.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, with Daniel Ricciardo slotting in alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have a Mercedes, Verstappen, Jenson Button and Raikkonen, Vettel, Alonso, Massa and Esteban Gutierrez, Perez, Hülkenberg, Romain Grosjean and Bottas, Palmer, Kvyat, Pascal Wehrlein and Kevin Magnussen, Sainz and Harry Anto, Marcus Ericsson and Felipe Nasser starts from the back of the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Alright then guys, as you can see we're on the grid now here for the Japanese Grand Prix. We're going to be starting on the soft tyres and then making the switch over to the mandatory hard compound tyres for this race. So exact same strategies we did in Malaysia, but of course we're going to hopefully try and be the winner in Malaysia, unlike last time when we didn't quite have enough to beat Lewis Hamilton in this Grand Prix. Anyway, onto the formation lap we go now, and we just need to, warm up the tyres, engine, brakes, all of that jazz, and make sure that we can get everything sorted. And that's over and done with. We have now onto the grid here. We've got 3, 4, now 5 red lights here for the Japanese Grand Prix, and it is lights out, and away we go. And it's a good start from us, getting straight past Daniel Ricciardo, going to the inside line against Lewis Hamilton, making the charge down into turn 1, and there we go. Advantage us straight away into the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix we go, and we have got in front of Lewis Hamilton, with Max Verstappen getting in front of Daniel Ricciardo as we go through the S section here. We run a little bit wide. Lewis Hamilton comes and fights us back, but down the inside into the second part of the S section here, we get back in front of Hamilton. A nice little bit of scrapping between myself and Lewis, and I have no doubt that we're going to be having more battles with him potentially in this race. Anyway, coming through the Dunlop curve now and braking hard into Degner 1, making sure we get that perfect. Nicely done, braking hard into Degner 2. A little bit too much of the curb there. We could have potentially used a bit less of that curb. Lewis Hamilton with a fantastic drive out of Degner 2, but it's not going to work for him. Braking down into the hairpin now. We get the car sorted. A little bit wide on the apex, but honestly, you don't need to nail the apex around this track in the hairpin for you to get the best drive coming out of it. Now coming towards Spoon Corner, you can see Lewis Hamilton literally all over my rear wing right now. He really wants to get that place back and maintain any sort of fighting chance in this Drivers' Championship. But we're looking to try and wrap it up as early as we possibly can. Chucking the car into rich fuel mixture, coming past Spoon Corner, making the uphill drag towards 130R. Lewis Hamilton's looking to go around the outside line. He has to back out of it though, goes back into the slipstream of our car, through 130R, perfectly done there. Lewis Hamilton just a little bit further back, down into the final chicane here, running wide on the first corner, the first left-hand side of the apex. Better on the second part, but a little bit too much curb. And round the start-finish line, we are going to be leading the Japanese Grand Prix, but it's not over there. Lewis Hamilton sucking into the slipstream. He's going to make a charge. He's going to go to the left-hand side and then switches to the right-hand side, hits the back of my car. And Lewis Hamilton eventually has to sit back and relax. But let's get a replay of that start. So you can see we putting up a lot of tyre smoke there, and then we move over to the left-hand side, putting myself in the middle of the car there, and through on Lewis Hamilton, shoving him wide. I was hoping a Red Bull would get past Hamilton because Lewis is very, very quick round here, but unfortunately, Hamilton managed to maintain position. Coming through the first part of the S section, you can see the understeer I had. Hamilton decided to stick his nose in, but luckily I had the inside line into the next part of the S section, and I shoved Lewis Hamilton wide and maintained the position in P1 at the moment. Coming through the Dunlop curb now, you can see that we still built ourselves a little tiny advantage, but Hamilton is always still going to be there. Braking hard down into Degner 1, you can see again, perfect actually through Degner 1. Down into Degner 2, took a little bit of the grass there, didn't really need to do that, and a bit too much on the exit, and that gave Lewis Hamilton fantastic drive coming out of Degner 2. Down into the hairpin, you can see that we didn't quite hit the apex. Hamilton went for the apex, but then I was going to get the better exit speed because I was taking a wider line, so that was all fine. Lewis Hamilton, you can see, literally stalking my rear wing right now, all over the back of me as we speak, and making the run down towards Spoon Corner here. Lewis Hamilton still has to sit behind. It's very tight, it's actually very tight and narrow around Suzuka. Not many places to overtake as we now make the charge coming up the hill towards 130R. This is when Lewis Hamilton has a little look at myself here. So he moved over to the left-hand side of the circuit. He then ducked back into the car and back into my slipstream through 130R to try and get as much pace as he could, ready for the pit straight. Braking down into the chicane now, you can see that Lewis Hamilton still trying to set up a move at some point. The two Red Bulls there looking to try and find a way through as well. And down the start-finish straight, we actually managed to stay P1. But you can see the slipstream that Lewis Hamilton got, and he moved over to the right-hand side of the circuit, but then he made contact with the rear of my car, and he settled back in then into turn 1, and we stayed in front. Skipping all the way to lap 4 of the Grand Prix, I was able to hold off Lewis Hamilton for quite a little while, but Lewis Hamilton has gone and done the same thing that I did in Malaysia, and he's gone for the undercut. So he's coming on at the end of lap 3, and we're coming in on the end of lap 4, so hopefully we didn't lose a lot of time on our in-lap, and we can get back out in front of Lewis Hamilton. A little bit of a delay there as he came out of the pits due to the Red Bull coming through, but we're fine. But the biggest problem is, did we have enough pace to get in front or stay in front of Lewis Hamilton, or has Hamilton perfectly executed the undercut, making my chance of winning this race a lot harder? Coming out of the pits now, you can see that I can't see Lewis Hamilton. Oh no, where is that's Carlos Sainz. There's Lewis Hamilton overtaking the Sauber behind. Lewis Hamilton has failed to execute the undercut. In fact, he got stuck in some traffic, so a big let off from myself as I come through the S section now. But unfortunately, I've now got to the point of the circuit where it's literally impossible to overtake, and I've got Carlos Sainz in front of me, so a nightmare exit at the moment. There's Lewis Hamilton. He's overtaken the Sauber. His next target is myself, but I really need to get past Carlos Sainz as quick as I possibly can. I have a look down into the inside of Degner 1, but it's not going to work. Then the inside of Degner 2, just no room for me to get overtaken, and I'm being held up horribly here by Carlos Sainz. I really need to get past him as quick as I can. Down the inside into the hairpin, I took no prisoners, and I had to get past Carlos Sainz, and we make the move stick. But Sainz is still fighting me at the point where I just don't need him to fight. Sainz, just give up the place, and he finally gives up the place. And now we've got a car's gap between myself and Lewis Hamilton in this Japanese Grand Prix. And moving on to lap 6 of the Grand Prix, Hamilton eventually got past Carlos Sainz, and he's now set his sights back on myself. So Hamilton is on a huge charge in this Grand Prix. In Malaysia, it was me versus Hamilton. In this race, it is, it's vice versa. But anyway, as you can see, we're now coming through 130R with Lewis Hamilton just so close behind me right now. And we execute 130R perfectly there. Down into the final chicane we go. Hamilton's still right there though, as of course in the previous race I was hunting down Lewis Hamilton and I was piling on the pressure on Hamilton. In this race, Hamilton's piling all the pressure on myself, so the tides have turned. But as you can see, Hamilton has got the DRS. He's going to go to the inside line into turn 1. Can Hamilton make this move stick? We're going to brake earlier. Hamilton brakes too late, and we're going to do a switchback on Lewis Hamilton, and we stick into the lead of the Grand Prix. A beautiful switchback move there from Hamilton. Hamilton outbraked himself, and we managed to stay into P1 in this Grand Prix. Sergio Perez has made his pit stop to the hard tyres, and we're now back in our net first place. Up until lap 7 of the Grand Prix now, Lewis Hamilton a little bit further behind, coming through 130R, now braking into the chicane. Unfortunately, we actually completely missed the apex of the first part of the chicane. Second part of the chicane, again, I kind of made a mess of that, but Lewis Hamilton is right behind me as we speak. He's going to go over to the left-hand side of the circuit. I'm going to give him the outside line this time into turn 1. And can Lewis Hamilton get the job done? He's got the DRS open. He's just there. You can just see his wing, but he brakes again a little late. I brake a little earlier and stick to the inside line. Lewis Hamilton once again has to sit back for a little bit more. And every time that Hamilton can't get this move done, the closer and closer I'm getting to winning this World Championship. Hamilton knows he's got to win this race and beat me in order to get him to let the championship battle roll on to America. Moving on then further on to the Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton's going to go around the outside into 130R. Can he make it stick? We defend around the outside into 130R. A nice bit of defending from myself, and down into the final chicane here. Lewis Hamilton unfortunately can't get the move done, and we're going to clear ourselves of DRS for this next lap here. Hamilton will get the DRS, but it's not going to be enough for Lewis Hamilton to actually close up and get past us. So as you can see, we now need to start relaxing. Lap 10 of the Grand Prix, we've got 4 more laps to go, and we just need to keep defending like we are. We know where to defend. Coming further on to lap 10, Hamilton just looking all over the place, thinking of a move into Spoon Corner. It's just not going to work for him. He's going to have to sit back and wait for the run down towards 130R, and then onto the pit straight where you'll have the DRS. I put the car into rich fuel mixture to try and defend from Lewis Hamilton, but once again, he's going to come back at us, going through 130R. He goes to the outside line again into 130R, and this time we are going to defend him, but this time Hamilton goes for an attempt of a switchback, but it's not going to work for him. But annoyingly, Hamilton is so close to us right now, and he's got a brilliant run here, coming towards lap 11 of the Grand Prix now. Can Lewis Hamilton get a move done? We come down the pit straight once again. Hamilton with the DRS wide open. We're going to go to the right-hand side of the circuit and defend the inside line. Hamilton's got the left-hand side. DRS wide open for Lewis Hamilton. He's going to brake super late, and again, you can see it there. Hamilton runs wide again, and we stay in front of Lewis Hamilton for the time being with just 3 more laps to go, and we are the champion. That's all I'm thinking about right now. Even if the 2 Red Bulls get in front of us, which we've dropped them, me and Hamilton are in a world of our own right now. It's just me versus him. Down into the Spoon Corner again, making a bit of a fuss of it, going on the curb, losing the back end. But this time, Hamilton once again looking strong and looking fast. He's going to go to the outside line into 130R. Once again, I'm going to defend that inside line. Hamilton's going to try his hardest, go around the inside into 130R. We've managed to defend very nicely from Lewis Hamilton. Down into the final chicane now, and we managed to stay in front of Lewis Hamilton. But will the Mercedes driver behind me get the DRS? He will get the DRS. Will he make a move on us going into turn 1? We're just going to have to find out. Final lap of this Grand Prix. This is the last lap, the final lap. I need to defend from Hamilton. He's got that DRS. He's closing, but he's not close enough. However, going into turn 1, I actually run a little bit wide, but luckily, Hamilton was just too far back, and I escaped lucky on that one. Down into Spoon Corner once again, Hamilton's favourite place. Just like in the Japanese Grand Prix in real life, he was so quick in this part of the lap. But once again, this is the final lap. Lewis Hamilton is looking all over the place. He's going to the inside, goes back into slipstream, goes back. He's just moving all over the place, trying to put me off. Through 130R we go. Hamilton loses out on the rear end of the car. Down into the chicane we go. Final few corners to navigate in this Japanese Grand Prix. It's been action-packed between myself and Lewis Hamilton. Round the final corner we go towards the checkered flag. And there it is, guys. We have won the Japanese Grand Prix and the Drivers' Championship.
The race win.
And so the celebrations begin, and well earned they are indeed. It may have looked simple at times, but as any racing driver will tell you, competing at this level, at the very top, is anything but simple. There's no catching them now then. We have a new World Drivers' Champion.
Absolutely unbelievable, guys. We have, for the 2nd season in a row, managed to win the Drivers' Championship, but this time we have crushed it this season for Mercedes-Benz. We have managed to be the best out of the 2 drivers between myself and Lewis Hamilton. It was a very, very action-packed Grand Prix indeed between myself and Hamilton. We battled so hard, and if only we could have battles like that throughout the entire season, who knows what would have happened. But there was just too many races when Lewis Hamilton was so close to me, it was just crazy stuff. I mean, Lewis Hamilton had 2 races where he failed to score points, and I managed to get maximum amount of points. So that's 50 points I gained on Hamilton in this season. And then there was a couple of races where Hamilton finished 3rd, like for an example in Hungary when I forced him wide and Ricciardo snatched 2nd place. That lost him 10 points. That lost him 3 points. So there was a lot of places where Hamilton could have gained, but he just didn't. And that's going to be it then. So Drivers' Classification there. Myself takes the win, and we win the Drivers' Championship from Lewis Hamilton. The Constructors' Championship was also wrapped up in this career mode, and you'll look at that in a second. So into the Drivers' standings we go. I can no longer be caught. Hamilton 107 points back now, or 100 and something. You see it on your screens there. Too much for Hamilton to close now in four races to go. In the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes have won the Constructors' Championship. There it is. Red Bull can no longer catch us now in this championship, and we have wrapped that up as well. So overall, a brilliant day for myself and for Mercedes. Guys, if you have enjoyed the Japanese Grand Prix, leave a like. That'd be absolutely awesome. Subscribe if you're new around here as well. Don't forget to vote in the description down below, and I'll also put it in the comment section. Don't forget to vote which team you want me to go for. You've got the choices of Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, and Williams. You can go and make your votes. Of course, all of those votes will be casted. And for example, if Ferrari is the winner, but Red Bull is, but it's not on there, and say Red Bull is, and Red Bull was the next best, I will pick Red Bull. So that's how it's going to work in case the contracts don't come through. But guys, that's it. We're Drivers' Champions. So for the final 4 races, we're just going to give it everything and see what we can do. So until then, guys, I'll see you guys for the United States Grand Prix. Take care. Peace.